Welcome to Nutrition 2203. In this video, we're going to take a look at the syllabus for this semester. So what I have pulled up here initially is the As You Learn page for the course. So to find the syllabus, what we're going to do is go here to the Start Here module, and you can see here's the syllabus. Here's the syllabus overview video that you're watching now. So I'm going to click on the syllabus link. It's going to take me to Google Drive. Just a quick note here, if for some reason this says that you need access to it, what you will need to do is log out of your Gmail account. You'll probably be in a personal Gmail account if it asks you to do that. So go ahead and log out of your Gmail account and then log back in with your App State Gmail account as your primary account, and then it will give you access to that. If you happen to do that and request access, I'll send you just a quick note reminding you to try to log out and log back in. But as long as you're in your App State account as the primary one, you should not have an issue accessing. So I'm going to go ahead and open the syllabus. And so for this semester, you can see my office phone number and my office located in LHS. Here's my email address if you need to get in touch with me. Here's the course text. That would be a rental at the campus bookstore. Here are objectives for the course for this semester. I encourage you to review the academic integrity code here, the disability services statement. If that applies to you, please let me know what we need to do and we can work on that ASAP. Here's the attendance policy. Obviously, this is an online course. So we won't be meeting synchronously. Everything will be done asynchronously this semester. So that is not as applicable to us as it normally would be. Here's a comment on student engagement in the course, campus closures. Again, with this being virtually, not as applicable to us. Here's the late policy for the course. So if you would just take a moment and read this. Late assignments are not accepted. I mean, if your assignment is turned late, you will receive a 0. If there's some extenuating circumstance, illness, family emergency, accident, what you'll need to do is contact the Dean of Students office and have them request a letter sent to probably not just me, but all your instructors, letting us know what's going on, and then I'll be happy to work with you with whatever the circumstance is. Our exams, makeup exams, teaching description, food insecurity, reporting obligations, face coverings. Again, some of these are not as applicable to us with the online format this semester. But here's the course grading policy. And so I'll go over each of these later in the course, but there will be discussions with each module that you're going to do. Roughly, there'll be 20 of those that are 10 points each. You can see that would be 200 total points or 20% of your grade this semester. Generally, what I try to do is do more than 20, and then we drop the lowest ones. There's a manager-leader interview assignment. That'll be done with a partner or potentially a small group. That's 100 points and 10% of your grade. There's 2 creation projects, so there's a part 1 and part 2 of this. So I just encourage you to think about, as you're doing part 1, to go ahead and look at some of the instructions for part 2 so you know how they're going to fit together after you do these. These can be individually done. Part 1 can be individual or with a partner. Part 2 is going to be on your own. So again, if you've got a partner for part 1, just think about how you would do this on your own for part 2. But each of those parts is worth 100 points or 10% of your grade. So here are the quizzes. There's 20 total quizzes, each worth 20 points or 400 points or 40% for the semester. You've probably seen those if you've looked through As You Learn already. You'll see where those are in most of the modules for the semester. And this is labeled event attendance. In the past, I've had students attend various things that are either on campus or like the tour of food service done on campus. Those will not be going on this semester, at least to my knowledge at the moment. But what I've got is an alternative assignment that's on As You Learn. But that's worth 100 points and 10% of the grade. So here's the breakdown of the scores just in points. So if you end up with a total of 940 to 1,000 points, that's an A, 939 to 900, and you can go down and look at the rest of those. This should also show on As You Learn in the grade book in terms of kind of where you're at that point in the semester, where your graded would be. Okay, so here's some other things, just as a kind of a communication plan, what you can expect from me and my teaching assistant this semester. I do send weekly announcements out. Generally, these happen on Monday mornings. They kind of give you an overview of what you can be working on that week, or maybe a preview of what's coming, or some reminders of things that have come up throughout the week. Again, so these will be delivered to your email, but they're also on the announcements part of the forum for the course, so you can see those and refer back to those as needed. Those may be modified due to holidays. I also will send other announcements generally periodically throughout the week as if I feel something's important and can't wait till the Monday announcement. As far as email goes, so obviously, you know, as you send me email or you send the TA email this semester, our goal is to respond to that within 48 hours, Monday through Friday. We don't include weekends in that 48-hour response timeline. So remember that, you know, if you're doing a quiz on a Saturday and you have an issue, you know, we may not get that email until Monday or Tuesday. So just be aware of that. That's why I encourage you to work ahead on things. And the course is just generally easier for students as things are worked ahead to allow yourself enough time for that. If you have not received an email response within 48 hours, just go ahead and resend it. Don't hesitate to resend it. We may have missed it, overlooked it, or some other circumstance may be going. But you can just you can either forward the email back to us, or you can just say, I wanted to follow up on this. I haven't heard for a couple of days, and that's not a problem. We'll be sure to be on that as soon as we can. Office hours, so again, a little bit different probably this semester, but they are available during Zoom, both for the TA and myself. I'm happy to schedule times outside of these hours as well. So if Monday and Wednesday between 10 and 1 don't work for you, just email me and let me know. But I do encourage you to sign up for a time as possible. And if you look on As You Learn, right here is the office hours appointments, and you click on that, you'll see a link to all of them. So you can go to the one that you want to sign up for, click on it, it'll notify, and we can kind of schedule something from there. You're also free to email me directly or the TA and ask if there's a time that we can set something up. With discussion boards, so the discussion boards obviously are part of the activities through the module with an assigned time. And the instructor, myself, and the TA will respond to the discussion boards when there's something particularly interesting or noteworthy is discussed, when something needs to be corrected or facilitated. But I want you to know that we, at times, will allow the discussion to just take place naturally, for you to share ideas, for you to jump in and share with each other. That's what the discussion board is about. And you can see this note here. It says the instructor will generally wait until the end of the discussion period to allow other students to point out things and not interrupt the flow of the discussion board. So there's you've got some time for you to make initial post. Then there's another week in there for you to make response posts. So we're going to generally let that roll out as it happens naturally. I will also say with the grades, what you should just be aware of with the grades is that, a lot of times if there's an initial post and 2 response posts, your initial post will be worth 6 points. Your response post will be worth 2 points each, so total potentially of 10. If you look at your grade book, so after the first week where your initial posts are due, if you see a 6 in that grade book, but you've posted everything, we may have just not graded that response post yet. So after the end of the module, if you're still seeing a 6, but you think that you've done everything, feel free to email us and let us know. But do give us some time, because it'll show up in your grade book as a 6 just because we haven't finished grading that. That happens often throughout the semester. Assignment feedback and grade posting. So generally what you should have this at 10 days after the due date. The plan is to be done and to grade things ahead of those times, but just so that you know, again, 10 days after that, if you haven't heard anything, let us know. Some of these assignments are going to take us a little bit longer to grade. The manager leader interview project, your creation projects, some of these may take a little time. So we do add that buffer of kind of 10 days after, but do know the plan is for us to grade those sooner than that 10-day timeline. Other feedback, grade feedback may be provided in the weekly assignment. If there's something common to everybody in the class, I'll post that. And just to note, generally the way I do some feedback and give instructions, if there's something particular that I get multiple emails about, so if 3 or 4 students or even 2 or 3 students email me with a similar question, what I'll do is I'll email you back, but then also post that on the discussion board or in one of the weekly announcements, so that it's not targeted at you. It's just, I figure that if multiple people have the same question, there's probably other people out there with the same question that just haven't answered. So I go back and take a look and see what's there, and then we'll let everybody in the class have, you know, that information. And then here's our course outline for the semester. So again, I've gone over this and go over this in various modules, but just generally what you can see, here's module 1. Initial activity responses are due by this date and time. There's a week between where activity responses are due. Be reminded that some activities don't have responses, so those are still due on the 30th, but there's no response posed. Here are the chapter quizzes due and the reading for that on the 13th. I've also pointed out in another video where the Google Drive material is for those assignments as well. Module 2 set up in a very similar manner. You have your initial activities due, you have your responses due a week after that, your quizzes due a week after that, and so that takes us into October the 4th. Module 3 is the one that's a little bit different from the first two. Module 3, the manager leader interview presentation projects are due on October the 11th, so there'll be more instructions about how to post those online. There are a couple other activities also due for October the 11th, and then your responses both for the activity and for the presentations are due on the 18th. And then module 4, we're back to the standard module setup where we've got activities, activity responses, and then our reading and our quizzes. And that takes us up to November the 8th. And then in module 5, the last module for the course, you can see that our creation project part 2s are due on the 15th. You're going to do some evaluation of those projects by the 24th, so that gives us a little bit of time. And then this is right up until the Thanksgiving holiday, the last day of on-campus class. And then activities C and D are the last things that are due on December the 3rd. The other thing that would be due right here is that event attendance that I was telling you about earlier. That would also be due at that point in time. So I'll just go ahead and add that on there. You can certainly do that ahead of time, but that will definitely be due by December the 3rd. For those of you that are nutrition and dietetic majors, you may have seen these before. If you haven't, you'll probably see these in some of your other courses. These are KRDN, so these are the required courses of the accrediting body. And there is some application to this for a couple of the activities that we'll do this semester for you. You've got to have a certain grade in those activities as part of a requirement for your undergraduate program. So I'll let you know ahead of time. And again, this is only applicable to nutrition and dietetic students. So that's a review of the course syllabus. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thanks a lot, and I wish you best of luck this semester.